be a speaker to today's climate change workshop under the theme Understanding Climate Change and Impact in Ghana, a collective action for a sustainable development. As Barrister did mention, my name is Anita Ofori. I'm the co-founder for Women for Sustainability Africa. And today, my major focus area will be on adopting sustainable practices in our schools and communities for a better future. So, what we'll be looking at is what sustainability is all about, what is environmental sustainability, because that will be our key area, human activities that are destroying our environment, why schools and the communities are key players in environmental sustainability, how to adapt sustainable practices in our schools and communities. Then there'll be a conclusion. I'm sure everyone gets to hear sustainability, and so let me just ask a question. So let's say if your grandfather left a plot of land for you, has that plot of land increased over the years? If you look at the water body, maybe in your community, has it increased? Has the beach increased? So the whole aim of sustainability is that our natural resources is still the same, but our population keeps increasing, just like our first presenter did mention. Okay, so when we look at one definition that is very simple and very easy to understand, is from the United Nations Brundtland Commission. They defined sustainability as meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. So, in simple put, sustainability is all about making you think like a generational thinker. Okay, and under sustainability, we have four pillars in sustainability. We have the human sustainability, social sustainability, economic sustainability, and the environmental sustainability. Today, we'll be focusing on the environmental sustainability. Okay. So, with environmental sustainability, it's all about managing our natural resources, okay, for us to be able to fulfill our current need without compromising on the ability of the future generation to meet their needs. Because you can just imagine, population keeps increasing. So, even though we have the natural resources to ourselves now, we need to be very mindful that in some years to come, your children's children are also going to live on the same earth. So we just need to think about them as well. So according to the World Health Organization, human beings is closely linked to the environment, to the health of the environment. Okay, so around the world, about 24% of death can be traced back to avoidable environmental factors because we need to breathe in clean air, we need fresh water to drink, and I mean our living place needs to be very habitable. So we are going to look at some of the activities that you and I are doing that is destroying the environment. Okay. So deforestation, we all know what deforestation is all about. We have the industrialization and air pollution. And let me speak a little bit on the air pollution. A lot of people die due to the air pollution. Okay. And from data provided by the World Health Organization, it is estimated that about 7 million deaths occur in the world. And in Ghana alone, we have about 28,000 Ghanaians who die annually prematurely due to air pollution. So this is a very area that needs we need to focus because you may just be there and you get sick and really do not know what happened to you. It's maybe the air in your area is polluted, you do not know about it, and it actually affects your health. We look at the water pollution, and even with this water pollution, just look at illegal mining in our communities. Our water bodies are so polluted, okay, due to these galamsey activities and all of that. And there's even a research that was conducted that these waters that are polluted in such communities, the people living in there use these waters to cook and they drink these waters as well. What do you think will happen to you? obviously it's going to affect your health. And if this goes to the far extent that pregnant women drink these contaminated water right here in Ghana, use these contaminated water to cook, and this affects their babies. So when they are born with deformities, and you spend so much money and energy trying to, treat a child with deformities, and it can be really, really stressful. We want to look at overfishing and marine ecosystem depletion. There's waste generation too in Ghana, which is also another headache in a part of our world, because almost everywhere you pass, so much garbage everywhere. And even one of the main headache is the plastic waste. Plastic waste is just so much that it's estimated that about 250,000 metric tons of these plastic waste are not disposed of properly. So they end up in our gutters, in our water bodies, in our environment, almost everywhere on landfills, and even some end up in the oceans. So in the oceans, just imagine that's where the fishermen goes to fish and all of that. And these fishes also feed on these plastic waste. And we're also feeding on these fishes. So you can just imagine what's happening to our health. We end up getting sick, and sometimes we really do not even know what happened to us. It's because we've been doing this over a long time. And there's a research that says that if we are not careful, by the World Bank in 2020, they said that we are not careful, by 2050, our ocean will be full of plastic. So when the fishermen goes, they'll be rather harvesting, fishing out plastics, which it's a very key area we need to look at. So for Women for Sustainability, currently we're embarking on a plastic segregation program in schools to help recycle some of these plastic waste, because at the end of the day, just about 9.5% plastic waste are just recycled. So there's so much work to be done around that side. We look at urbanization, you look at open defecation, where we are just trying to pollute our water, fossil fuel consumption, and the greenhouse gas emission that Isaac has already spoken extensively about. So these are some of the images you can see right here, River Pra before. Look at how clean the water is. Water do not have colors, but when you look at this, it looks blue, very clean. And look at after, due to illegal mining, look at how the water is looking at. And right here, you can see so much garbage. You can see so much garbage in there. There's no segregation, because you see food waste, plastic waste, paper waste, everything. You see, even by our seashore, look at some of the plastic waste. All these plastics were in the river, okay, and it's now at the shore. And there's an example of air pollution right there. There's an example of air pollution some refuse. And you can see another picture that shows how we do not dispose our waste properly. So why are schools key players in ensuring sustainable environments? So the role of our schools empower future generations. Okay, so they foster critical thinking and innovation to face challenges. And as students, we are built, to have a very solid foundation. And the role of education is shaping the future, our future, for us to be able to take up leadership positions and to be able to drive the country forward. And when you look at the educational institution in Ghana, this is coming from the Ghana Education Service, the data that was picked. From kindergarten to junior high school, we have over 70,000 schools, the 70,793. Looking at the senior high school institution, we have 721. Tertiary institution, we have 370. So you can just do this calculation, and let's say it's just about 71,000 of schools, and each student has to drink 2 sachets of water a day. You can just imagine, for an example, let's not use huge numbers. Let's say all these institutions have just about 100 students in there. When you do the multiplication, you realize that we're having over 280 million sachets water waste like daily. So you can just imagine, the waste that we are producing on a daily basis. So how can we adapt sustainable practices in our school? One, we need to look at our environmental education. We need to integrate sustainability in our curriculum. Okay, so currently I know that with the support of the United Nations and other stakeholders, we've been able to incorporate climate change into the new primary school curriculum. Okay, so from basic 1 to basic 6. But I also remember when I was in University of Professional Studies level 200, I think 12 years ago, there was this course, environmental management, and it was compulsory for everyone, even though we're all business students, it was compulsory for everyone to actually take that course. So I think if we implement this course across discipline, not only focusing for, let's say, climate change students or people just doing sciences, it will go a long way to impact us. Because if I quite remember, right after we studied that course, I went back to my hostel and I took papers and I started waste segregation. So you can't be seeing me busy trying to segregate the waste, putting notices everywhere. And I think that was what tuned my mind to this, and having started like some initiatives like Women for Sustainability, where we encourage and we advocate for these actions. Also, we want to look at creating school gardens and outdoor learning spaces. Okay, so creating school gardens. Most of you will testify the fact that if you go to schools outside Accra, you're looking at places like, let's say, some parts of Eastern region, Kumasi, or let's say Tamale, the Northern region. They try to have these gardens in their schools, okay, which is good. And from a story that a colleague told me about, when they were in school, they could plant food crops, and when it's due for harvest, they even sell it to the community members, and the school is able to make some money out of it. And I think it's a very nice initiative. But currently, when you look at schools in Accra, because of space, everyone is trying to, manage spaces, and they do not even have school gardens. All right, everywhere is cemented, and there's no space for that. So you can just imagine, even when it rains, there's no soil available to even absorb the rains. And it's something that we want to look at, because you want to have practical education for students who are studying agricultural or any other thing. It even sparks interest and makes our minds very creative. We also want to educate students and staff about the importance of conserving energy. Okay, because sometimes if maybe as university students, you may think you're not paying for your bills, so you do not really think about it. You charge your phone and you leave the switches off. You are going for lectures, we leave the fans on. We just want to be a bit mindful of all of that, to be able to conserve this energy, and look at how we can reduce waste reduction and recycling. So as I did mention, like an initiative like what we've started, where we want to implement, want to segregate waste to be able to encourage more recycling. I think this has to be done in every school, so that we can be able to recycle most of these plastic waste. Also, community engagement. We need to do community engagement, so partners with local businesses, organizations, and government agencies to support sustainable initiatives such as tree planting. And now it's one of the most activities that I see a lot of organizations doing and students doing, and we equally do that as well, which is a good initiative. Because when Isaac was doing his presentation, he did mention that when you destroy some of these natural resources, it takes time for us to be able to replace them. So just imagine you went cut down a tree that was planted like 20 years ago and you plant one, you should also know that before that seedling will grow, it will take like 20 years. Okay, so we just need to be very mindful about our actions. And also would encourage government and investors, okay, to also invest in eco-friendly infrastructure. So in your infrastructure, you want to look at how you can cut down on or improve energy efficiency, effective waste management system. We want to have a green space and water conservation. And even now, there are taps where if you put your hands, this is a sensitive tap. It's when you put your hands beneath it, that's when the tap flows. But when it's not, when your hands is not there, the water will not flow. You can all attest to it. I remember when I was in university, some of my mates would just go to the bathroom and the taps are not flowing. So they open the tap and that is it. They forget to turn it off. So by the time you come back from lectures, sometimes your room is even flooded. Okay. And all these are waste of resources that can actually be prevented. Why do we need to adapt sustainable practices in our communities as well? So, in our communities, sustainable development is not just a global responsibility, but it's a collective effort. Okay, even with our schools, who make the school? It's you and I. You're a student somewhere, and maybe a student somewhere. Without you and I or individuals, there's no school. Who forms a community? You and I do form a community. Without us, we cannot build a community. Okay, so we just need to be mindful and equally know that this is a journey to a sustainable lifestyle. And local communities really do play a vital role in driving sustainable development initiative. Okay, so we to help us learn how to, manage our natural resources, our economic well-being, and all. So, what are some of the ways that we can actually adapt sustainable practices? So, accepting environmental responsibility, we want to look at how resource conservation is, and conservation is just preventing of wasteful use of resources. Okay, so you just want to prevent that before it becomes waste. Also, look at how we can waste reduction, we can reduce our waste reduction. And even sometimes you'd realize that even in your neighborhoods there are taps, pipes, the pipes of this, they leak and nobody seems to care about it. Maybe the person who even caused that damage doesn't even know, doesn't even care. Maybe he was driving and he drove over a pipe and the water splays everywhere and nobody really cares about it. We are all wasting resources. These cause erosions in our area, floods the whole place, and it's not really the best. Okay, and want to look at sustainable transportation in our part of the world. I'm not saying it's difficult. I believe a time will come where it will be very easy to assess some of these, because even when we are encouraged to even pick public transportation, some do not even are unable to get to certain areas due to the bad nature of the road. Okay, and it becomes difficult. Maybe the place is hilly, you're unable to go. So you would want to also say train, but in this part of our country, it's not easy to. I haven't seen a train in. I don't even want to say years. I don't remember the last time I sat on a train. Okay, so I have a friend who lives in the UK, and he told me that he sold his cars. Like, oh, why? But why did you sell your car? And yet a lot of people want to buy a car, and you have a car and are selling it. And he was like, oh, for where he lives, it's so easy for him to get transportation, a train pass in his area. He can easily get a cab. There's a bus from his home to his office. So there's no need actually having a car, because you even actually have to pay for a parking space, because so their system is put in such a way that you actually encouraged to rather use more of these sustainable transportation system that has been built. But here in Africa, or Ghana to be precise, I think we are not there yet, but I believe that collectively you and I can be able to make a better Ghana for us to be able to enjoy some of these resources, and also look at how we can reduce plastic usage, okay, and change of lifestyle. So there's something I always call sustainable lifestyle. sustainable lifestyle. What's sustainable lifestyle? When you're going to buy something, why don't you have your reusable bag, like the tote bags? Why don't you use that so that you can always use it instead of going to the shop and always picking, they package your items for you in a plastic plastic bag. But when you have your reusable bag, like the tote bags, you are able to reuse them. And one of my community members does these bags, Mary Lancelot. You may want to also Google her and see what she has, and I mean, purchase a bag or so. It helps, it improves in these kind of, or improving our sustainability lifestyle. Okay, and we want to look at our engagement community engagement, so where local food system is really encouraged. We need to support our local farmers and do community gardens to improve healthy living, because when you plant your own crop, I'm telling you that you are it's to me, I always say it's a blessing, because your life health is very important. I remember 2 years ago when I decided to start planting food. I can say for a fact that for a whole year I had not purchased tomatoes, and it wasn't only tomatoes I was growing. I was growing tomatoes, pepper, okra. Yeah, I think these were the main crops I grew. And for a very long time, I didn't have to buy any of these. Even cassava, so I planted it. And there are ways where you can even preserve these. Okay, you cook them, you blend them, you store them in portions into your refrigerator. And all these improve, and it helps us build a resilient food system, because we also know that these parts of the world, we are faced with food insecurity issues. Okay, so look at that. And we have education and awareness. So, I mean, like this program that we are doing currently is to educate everyone, even myself. I'm learning. Everyone on the platform is an opportunity to learn. So as we also learn, we also go out there into our communities to create these awareness, okay, to people that have not had the opportunity maybe to join the call or other, and some of our community members, it's not everyone that is really educated, so we can even go back to be able to preach some of these in our own local dialect, for them to really understand what sustainability is all about, what climate change is all about. Also want to look at social equity and inclusion. Social equity and inclusion. So, for Women for Sustainability, for instance, we promote more on gender, because we want to create a balanced leadership. We want to look at diversity, okay, how to help and contribute to make a better decision, okay, because we even believe that climate change doesn't affect everyone equally, either male or female. Climate change doesn't affect equally. Okay, so to ensure that sustainability initiatives addresses the need of all community members, and fostering social equity and inclusion for everyone to be able to benefit from sustainable future. Okay, so we also want to also look at the embarking on policies and collaboration actions, like advocate for sustainable policies. I think Isaac did mention about some of these policies, and collaboration. Collaboration is another key area to look at, because sometimes you may not have the resources, but somebody may have the idea. You can come together to be able to do so much together, because you can't even do alone. But when you come together, you're able to address unique needs and address the community's challenge as well. So for me, what I say is that adopting sustainable practices is an ongoing journey. Okay, so by starting small, you celebrate the little successes that you've has been achieved. Also, it takes you and I to make that change. And I know change is difficult. There are some lifestyles that we've practiced over and over for a very long time. I'm sure most of you here, like, we go and buy cocoa early in the morning, and it's poured in a plastic, it's poured in a rubber. You buy coal, say it's put in a rubber. At the end of the day, all this food is put in another rubber. So you can just imagine. But if we can have a flax we go out with, we can have something sustainable. You put and your reusable bags, we can be able to make a difference. So to be able to live or drive sustainability, it takes you and I to make that difference. So thank you very much, and I'll be here to take your questions.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mrs. Anita, for such a presentation. I'm sure most of us are educated and we've learned something new. So the floor is open for questions. If you have any question, please raise your hand and let's hear you. Okay, Nicholas. Nicholas, you have a question?
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Speaker, for the knowledge you've impacted with us. Our question is quite brief about your perception about university or college students resulting to using bicycles as against, burden of taxis and other shuttles or mode of transportation.
Okay, so I think I'm not clear with your question. Can you come clear?
Oh, okay. So my question is her take on how does, let's say, when university students resort to using bicycles on campus as against burden of taxis and shuttles or other form of transportation would help in our bid for the sustainability she talked about.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much. Please, any other question? I'm sure Mrs. Anita is taking note of the questions. Once we take three, let's say 3 questions, yeah, 3 questions. She'll answer all of them at once. Please, any other question? Okay, Mrs. Anita, you can go ahead and answer her question as we wait for other people to join or ask questions. Hello.
Hello. Okay, so thank you very much for the question. Yes, I mean, using bicycle is very good because at the end of the day, it's even an exercise for yourself. Promoting it is good, but sometimes it's not like I do not promote it. I do promote it, but in our part of our country, there's so much indiscipline on our roads. Okay, so if you are very sure that your area where you think you are is good, or maybe there are not too much vehicles like the university campus, yes, I would encourage you to use bicycles. But if you think that your road network is not good, the roads are bad, and there's sort of indiscipline on the road, then I will not advise you to use a bicycle because your life comes first, and life is precious. When you go to Europe, you go to the America, they use bicycles. A friend of mine works in the parliament in UK, and he uses bicycle to work. I mean, so it's really encouraged, but you would want to look at your environment, your area
Okay,
to be able to take that decision.
okay. Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much. So we have people who are also watching us from YouTube and then Facebook. So if you have your friends who are watching us from YouTube or Facebook, they can also put their questions out there. I'll read them here. Yeah, so far you don't have any question over there. Okay. Kwabena, you have a question?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Please unmute and
Good evening, everyone.
good evening.
My question is very simple. So, what's the way forward, especially regarding the water, the natural environment? Example, the water where they do the gold mining. How can we make it clean so it helps everyone? Thank you.
Okay. I think there was one other hand up so that she answers both. Okay. Mrs. Anita, please, you can go ahead and answer this question. He wants to know the way forward. Is it the galamsey? Is it that we have to ban mining? Or what is the way forward?
Okay, so the thing is, our voices need to be heard. We still need to make our voices heard, talk about it. We continue to push education and awareness so that policymakers can put in stringent measures for this to stop. Because the illegal mining, once it doesn't stop and it continues, water bodies will continue to be polluted. Thank you.
Okay. Samuel, your hand was up. Yeah, good evening. Sammy, we can't hear you. Can you Raise your voice.
Hello. Okay, mine was concerning the usage of bicycle on campus.
Okay.
So, if because of the road network and the indiscipline, we cannot go by, there could be a law enforcement. Just recently, the government working the policy of the carbon emissions, the tax on carbon emissions. I think this is going to help reduce the amount of members into the future. So if there could be a law enforcement or maybe some people that penetrate, there will not be status anymore. So if they are not successful, we will not doing with the bike, so then you have to. And I think these politics can also help to get somewhere because if we only do the protection and the education, there are some people who definitely spend their time out for this and
Okay. So I think his own was a contribution. Okay, thank you very much, Samuel. Samuel was saying that there should be regulations on campus that enforce that everyone drives bicycle. I mean, even if you have a Range Rover, you have the option to either ride a bicycle or walk. Okay. Nunu Kingsley, you have a question? Yeah, please unmute and ask your question. Hello, Kingsley. Okay, so Kingsley is not talking. I have one question from YouTube. This is I want to ask you. So somebody is asking, can we get a way to ban the use of plastic bags and option for paper bags, just like Singapore? Hello. Hello, Mrs. Anita, are you?
Yes, barrister.
Yes, somebody is asking on YouTube that can we get a way to ban the use of plastic bags and then option out for paper bags, just like Singapore. Somebody is also asking a question on YouTube.
Yes, it's very, very possible for the use of especially single use plastics to be banned. It's all based on policies. Okay. It's all based on policies and advocacies are a way to go. We once we keep advocating, we keep advocating. I mean, consistency bring a change. So that's what we have to pursue and that's what we have to do.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Please, last question. Then we move on to the last speaker. Please, any question? Nunu, your hand is still up. Hello, Nunu, can you hear me? Okay, sure. Uh, I think that is it for now. So thank you very much, Mrs. Anita, for your presentation on sustainability. Well, yesterday was International Women's Day, so I want you to leave a short message for the ladies here.
All right, thank you so much. So yesterday one of the activities we did as Women for Sustainability was to go to Accra Wesley Girls to celebrate the day with them. And one of the last things I said was that just see life as a movie and be the main character of the movie. Once you're the main character of the movie, you become a star. So just go all out, do your best, do what is right, and just know that we can do it, even though as women. When you look at my very first presentation, my very first slide, I wrote that I'm a mother, I'm a banker, I'm a gender advocate, I'm a mentor as well, a youth advert. I promote sustainability. So you can just imagine there are limitations, natural limitations, but we can still overcome it. And always know that the world is ruled by tired people. So no matter how tired you are, never give up on your dreams. Keep pushing and you get there. You can want to follow us on our social media handles. On LinkedIn, it's Women for Sustainability Africa. If you want to join the community as well, I think when you get in touch with Barrister, he'll share my contact with you. I'll add you to our community where we educate our women as well. And we help, these people, young ones, tell their stories, their sustainability stories, which is very important because your voice needs to be to be heard. And never be quiet when you find yourself in a room with a lot of people and you have a question to ask. Be bold as a woman, be bold as a female, and ask your questions. Anything you do, just be bold and have that confidence. Okay, we are all human beings and we are all the same. No one has the power over you. Just be respectful, know your limits, know what you want to do. And I can tell you that once you're able to practice all of these, you go very far. So thank you very much for having us on all our social media, Facebook, on Instagram, on X, we're there, on LinkedIn, even on TikTok as well. You find us Women for Sustainability Africa. So thank you all very much for having me. Thank you.